Following his dominant win over Kamaru Usman in the main event of UFC Oklahoma City, Brendan Allen chimed in on the victory and had a tweet here, and you can read it. It says, DDP sucks, end of story. And this is a rivalry that's gone on for quite some time, dating back to when these two trained together at Kill Cliff. I think the story goes something along the lines of Brendan Allen has some sort of tattoo that has like a bunch of lines and numbers crossed off, and DDP made some joke about, oh, is that how many losses you have? And they've kind of, as like a joke, and Brendan took it personally, and I don't know, something really petty like that started this whole feud between the two. And for whatever reason, they haven't fought. Obviously, DDP went on to win the title. Brendan Allen had a couple losses in between there that prevented him from fighting for the title. But this rivalry goes way back, and they've just been going at it back and forth here and there. So Allen has this tweet here, says DDP sucks, end of story. He then follows this up by saying, are we going to fight in October? Are you going to keep ducking? Man, it's some terrible English. Are you gonna fight and gonna keep ducking? Don't know what that's all about. But anyways, that's aside the point. So Brendan Allen's been calling out Dricus, and Dricus had a pretty hilarious response here to this, courtesy of Full Send. By the way, go support Full Send. They did a really good job with their coverage last week, Oklahoma City. I don't know if you saw the Tommy McMillan video they did, the behind the scenes one. Really good stuff. But anyways, here's DDP talking about the tweet that Brendan Allen had, and here's DDP's response to that.
There's a couple other guys in the division that had some things to say to you tonight on social media. Nasruddin Imavov, I think he put sort of like a yawning emoji, and Brendan Allen put something along the lines of like, DDP sucks, that's all.
Oh. Brendan Allen's a dumbass. Imavov is probably yawning because he's never fighting, so that's about it.
Not of concern to you?
No, what? No, definitely not. I mean, Brendan Allen just beat some other guy who's, I don't know, he's not even in the top 20. Is he in the top 20? I don't even know. And Imavov, he's still fighting, right?
He is, yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There's a couple other guys in the division.
I like the look at the end here where he's like, Imavov's still fighting, right? And he does this look at the end. He's such an underrated trash talker, by the way, DDP. Really like this. So anyways, I mean, the reason I bring all this up is because this is an obvious fight for the UFC to make next. And I know there's going to be people in the comments, and we'll read some of the comments on Brendan Allen's tweet here, people thinking that DDP shouldn't have to fight Brendan Allen next. And I understand it. In a lot of circumstances, a former champion losing one fight and then winning the next fight should get you a title shot. But here's the problem. How long is DDP going to be waiting to get that title shot if that does happen? And the second thing I'll point out is, if Sean Strickland and Imavov fight, which it kind of looks like that's the direction we're going, if Strickland wins, are we really dying to see a trilogy fight between these two when we just had the rematch last year? I don't know if that's a fight that fans are like dying to see here. So the point I'm kind of making is that I think DDP needs to keep active, and I don't think there's a lot of really good options here. If we go take a look at the rankings right now, should have had this tab up, but again, kind of did this at the last minute. So yeah, if we look at just the regular rankings here, you'll see here DDP's 2. Khamzat Chimaev's number 1. I don't really think people want to see a Chimaev and DDP rematch with the fight happening, like I said, so soon. You got Imavov. It should be Imavov and Strickland next. You got Joe Pyfer. That's a potential option. Pyfer with that big win over Adesanya earlier this year in Seattle. Then there's Brendan Allen. Then there's Caio Borralho. Anthony Hernandez obviously is fighting Gregory Rodriguez. You got Adesanya as well, who DDP's already fought. Like, I don't think there's a lot of like really good options here for DDP if he needs a stay busy fight. And I think the obvious fight here is him and DDP. Now, one of the reasons that I think Chimaev and Strickland was such a successful pay-per-view and successful fight this year, and I've talked about this before in other videos, is it's two people who generally didn't like each other. I know Strickland after the fact said it was all talk. No, there was clearly some stuff there that they didn't like each other. Strickland talking about, Chimaev's relationship with Kadyrov, with a number of other things that he's done, training too hard, that type of stuff, like being hard on people he's training with, that type of thing. And there was a lot of back and forth between Chimaev and Strickland. But you guys remember going into that fight, everyone thought Chimaev was going to smoke Sean Strickland. Like, a lot of people felt that way. A lot of the Chimaev fans especially were like, oh yeah, first round finish, easy fight, all that, right? And I think even the betting odds reflected this. If we go look at it, Chimaev was obviously like a big favorite in this fight. But the reason that fight did so well and it sold so well is because we had two fighters who generally did not like each other, and it made this really great build up. And you saw the back and forth from interviews and press conferences and all that different stuff, and that made it a good fight. I think this has the potential to do the same thing, right? Brendan Allen not shying away from calling out DDP. I think he's doing his part. I think Brendan Allen's doing a great job with this. And DDP with some low-key trash talk. Now, I kind of get the sense that DDP doesn't want to fight him. And I do understand it from a, point of view as well, with the fact that, Brendan Allen, if you look at his career, just fought Edmund Shabazian. And I thought that was such a pointless fight to begin with. I think the UFC already screwed this whole thing up to begin with the fact that Brendan fought Edmund Shabazian, which really meant nothing. And if anything, I mentioned it after that fight, I don't think Brendan's stock went up at all, really, from that fight. In fact, that was a fight where I think Brendan should have gone out there and finished, and he didn't. So if anything, Brendan's stock went down. And what are we hearing this week with Dricus du Plessis win from a number of fans? Not all of them, but what are we hearing from a lot of fans now? Oh, he just beat a 40-year-old Usman. It's not a good win. Okay, well, this is kind of what we figured was going to happen, right? Like, people aren't looking at Usman being a former champion or someone that's like a notable win, not, ignoring Usman's last win over Buckley and all that. My point of this is, like, Brendan Allen beating Shabazian really didn't do much for him. And now people are kind of saying the same thing about DDP beating Usman, I should say. So they should have just done Brendan Allen and DDP to begin with. In fact, when DDP lost to Chimaev and Brendan Allen beat de Ridder, a lot of people felt like that was the fight to make, and the UFC never did it. Well, I'm telling you right now, UFC, if you're watching this video, now's the time to make this fight, because Brendan Allen should be fighting someone that's in that top, upper echelon here, right? Again, the de Ridder win was very good. Remember, he took that on short notice, and he came in and he, basically made de Ridder quit. He couldn't come out later in the round. Now, granted, that was a cardio thing from de Ridder as well, where he couldn't continue. He was exhausted, but that was still a huge win here. He's on a 3-fight win streak. I want to see Allen tested. I don't think Edmund Shabazian was that test. Now, again, should DDP have to fight down? No, but again, when's he going to fight again? And let's also look at the fact that DDP fought Chimaev in August of last year. It was a bit of a layoff coming into this Usman fight. Like, it almost came up to almost a year that he fought again. DDP's in the prime of his career at 32 years old. I don't want to see him waiting around for another fight. So kind of what I'm getting at here is they should just do Allen and DDP to keep DDP busy. Should he have to fight Allen? No. I think DDP is ranked higher. However, I just think that you don't want to be on the sidelines too long either. I mean, look at what's going on with Arman right now. Like, he may never get a title shot because he's been so inactive with the UFC. I think you got to keep active as possible. And to me, this is such an obvious fight. And I think there would be fan interest here. I think there's a lot of fans that want to see Brendan Allen lose and, lose in dominant fashion. I think there's a lot of DDP fans, right? So I think there's that side of things. I think the buildup would be good. Brendan Allen's not afraid to talk trash. This is a rivalry I think needs to be put to bed. And I think they need to do it. So yeah, I think this is such an obvious fight for the UFC to make. And again, I know there'll be people in the comments saying, oh, DDP shouldn't have to fight him, but what's the alternative? You want to see him fight Joe Pyfer? Okay, maybe that's a better fight. But again, there's no rivalry there. Caio Borralho, that's a fresh matchup for DDP. Sure, we could do that fight too. But I don't think there's a huge difference, if I'm being honest here, between Joe Pyfer and Caio Borralho than Brendan Allen. Like, again, they're basically in the same ranking here. We could go look at the wins. I mean, Joe Pyfer's win over Adesanya, is that better than any of Allen's wins? Maybe. Is it better than Allen's win over de Ridder? Tough to say. Again, that was short notice. Caio Borralho's had some good wins, but he's had some key losses as well. What's Caio Borralho's best win? What do we think here? Like, this is kind of what I'm getting at. Like, I know there's going to be people saying, oh, it doesn't make sense for DDP, but again, Jared Cannonier, he also beat de Ridder. So I don't really think there's much of a difference between Brendan Allen and Caio getting the fight. Joe Pyfer, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't think he's fighting Imavov in Paris, by the way. I saw someone post a rumor about that. I don't think that's happening. So yeah, I just think this is such an obvious fight to make because, again, what is so rare in the UFC is having two fighters who don't like each other. That rarely doesn't happen. There's a lot of manufactured beef where, fighters will be fake and say different stuff. But like, we saw it with Strickland and Chimaev. Like, how excited were people for that fight? And on paper, that was a fight where you had a fighter in Sean Strickland that, was a big underdog and a lot of people felt like he was going to lose, but people still tuned in just because of the trash talk. What was the betting odds on that? I'm going to look that up now. Look at this, minus 440 for a main event. I mean, a lot of people shouldn't be that, impressed by that, like on paper when you have such a big favorite here. So yeah, I just think this is a fight that the UFC needs to make. Do it later this year. They just announced the Edmonton card. They've had, Brendan Allen obviously fight in Canada before. Selfishly, I would love to see Brendan Allen and DDP in Edmonton. I think that would be great for a fight night card. Let's do that as a main event. Or you put this on a pay-per-view, put it on MSG, put it on, 331. I don't know. But yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense for both guys, and I've kind of outlined my reasons why. So if we look at some of the comments here, a lot of people going after Allen, pointing out that he lost to Sean Strickland. So you can see a lot of fans don't like Brendan Allen here. And this, I think, speaks more to DDP fans who can be pretty relentless, but they are, and I think there's some Strickland fans in here too, obviously. Oh man, it's so cringe when people say we would kill you. Like, come on, dude. So yeah, I think it speaks to the DDP fans as well. But then you see a lot of DDP fans in here saying that like he shouldn't fight him. Like this guy's saying he should fight Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, that would make sense too, although they just trained together, right? So I don't know. Fans don't seem too into it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, but I think this is just such a no-brainer fight to make next that the UFC should make it. And I think, again, this could headline a fight night card or something cool like that, or should be on a pay-per-view. But yeah, UFC, don't screw this up. Obvious fight to make. Let's make it. DDP and Brendan Allen. And by the way, we're going to do a quick tail of the tape between these two. Brendan Allen is 30 years old, 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. DDP is 32 years old, it's a couple years older, 6'1" with a 76-inch reach. So height and reach-wise pretty similar, age-wise pretty similar, just 2-year age gap. And they almost have the same amount of fights. Brendan Allen has more fights, but not by a ton. So yeah, and obviously I would pick DDP in this fight. I think he would win. I think DDP's very good. I think outside of that one Chimaev fight, he's looked pretty much amazing in all of his performances, at least recently. So yeah, I think that's the way the fight would go. So let me know in the comments. Are you into this fight? Are you not? What are your thoughts on this? If you don't like this fight, I would like to hear what you think would be a better matchup for Brendan Allen and DDP. Let me know in the comments. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.